press charges against my son for stealing our Nong and framing his 4-year-old niece Mom, I swear. Lily pulled the Nonger down and it shattered completely. My 26-year-old son Jake stood in our living room, his expression a perfect blend of frustration and resignation. I already took the pieces to the dump. It was destroyed beyond repair. My husband and I exchanged glances. Our 4-year-old granddaughter Lily was small for her age. The idea of her pulling down our 55-inch flat screen seemed implausible, but children can be surprisingly strong when determined. These things happen, I told Jake, though I felt a pang of disappointment about the Nong we'd purchased just 6 months ago. Later that evening, my daughter Sarah and her husband came to pick up Lily when they heard about the Nong. Sarah immediately pulled out her checkbook. "Mom, I am so sorry," she said, writing a check for $800, the full cost of the television. "We've been working with Lily on being careful around other people's things." Lily looked confused, her small brow furrowed as the adults discussed what she'd supposedly done. But at 4 years old, she didn't have the vocabulary to defend herself after they left. My husband decided to check our security camera footage, not to prove anything, but simply to see how the accident had happened. We installed cameras after a break-in last year, with one covering the living room. The footage showed Jake carefully removing the Nong from its mount, disconnecting the cables, and carrying it out to the front door fully intact. There was no sign of Lily anywhere near the television, no crash, no broken pieces. When confronted, Jake insisted the camera must have missed the accident. "The camera probably glitched. It happens all the time," he said, growing defensive. For 3 days I wrestled with what I'd seen versus what my son claimed. Then my phone rang. It was Melissa, Jake's girlfriend of 2 years, Mrs. Collins, she began, her voice shaking. "I need to tell you something. Jake brought your Nonger to our apartment last week. He told me you were giving it to us because you were upbraiding." She paused. "I just found out he made up that story about Lily breaking it. It's been in our living room this whole time." The betrayal hit me like a physical blow. My son had not only stolen from us, but had deliberately framed his 4-year-old niece and allowed his sister to pay $800 in restitution for something that never happened. I called the police that afternoon. When officers arrived at Jake and Melissa's apartment, she let them in and showed them our Nong still in perfect condition, now hooked up to Jake's gaming system. "You are overreacting," Jake texted after the police left with our television. "It's just a dong. Family helps family, but this wasn't about the television anymore. It was about a 26-year-old man willing to exploit a child's inability to defend herself, willing to steal from his parents, willing to take money from his sister who was already stretching her budget as a young family." When the officer asked if I wanted to press charges, I didn't hesitate. "Yes, my mother called me yesterday. Horrified. He's your son. You don't call the police on family. He stole from us," I replied. "He framed a 4-year-old child. He took $800 from his sister who can barely afford daycare. At what point do we stop excusing behavior because of blood? The court date is next month." Jake has been calling daily, alternating between apologies and accusations that I am destroying his life over just a dong. My husband supports my decision, but other family members are divided. I keep thinking about Lily's confused face as she was scolded for something she never did, about Sarah writing a check she could ill afford. Some say pressing charges goes too far. I say it doesn't go far enough when you are willing to throw a child under the bus for your own gain. A misdemeanor charge is the least of what you deserve.